The email arrived on a Tuesday. Subject line, "He deserves to know the truth." I thought it was spam. Then I saw the attachment, an ultrasound, 19 weeks. A little note at the bottom, "Your husband is going to be a father, finally." Finally, like I'd been preventing something. I've known about the affair for 6 weeks. Found the texts, the hotel receipts. Her name is Mara. She's 28, works at his gym. I was going to confront him this weekend, calmly, after I talked to a lawyer. But then I looked closer at that ultrasound photo. The background. You could see the edge of the medical office, the corner of the room. Except it wasn't a medical office. It was my kitchen. That crack in the marble counter, the one we got during installation 5 years ago, never bothered to fix. The distinctive pattern, the yellow hand towel I bought last month. She took that ultrasound photo in my house. I checked my Nest camera footage. I have cameras in the living room and front entrance, but not the kitchen. I started scrolling. 2 months of history. And there she is, coming in through the front door with a key. Not once. 47 times, always during my work hours. Now I'm watching her wear my robe, eat from my fridge, sleep in my bed, and I just reverse searched her photos. The woman my husband thinks is named Mara, her images don't exist anywhere online before 8 months ago. Whoever is pregnant with my husband's baby, whoever has been living in my house, isn't real. Let me go back to 6 weeks ago, before I knew any of this. I'm Sarah, 34, marketing executive at a tech firm downtown. My husband Mike is 36, personal trainer, owns a stick in Peak Fitness across town. We've been married 7 years. Good years, mostly. Except for the baby thing. 3 years of trying, 4 rounds of IVF, tens of thousands of dollars, hormone shots that made me crazy, procedures that made me feel broken. Every single one failed. Mike was supportive at first, held my hand through the injections, drove me to appointments. But after the 4th failure, something shifted. He got quieter, started staying late at the gym, said he needed space to process. I gave him space. Our routine became mechanical. I worked 8 to 5, sometimes later. He had clients early mornings, evenings, weekends. We'd pass each other in the kitchen. He'd kiss my forehead. I'd ask about his day. "Fine," he'd say. "Yours?" "Fine," I'd answer. We were fine. Until March 19th. I was reconciling our credit card statement and saw a charge I didn't recognize. Hotel Alessandra, downtown, $347. The same night Mike said he was at a training conference in Austin. My hands went cold. I checked his location history on our shared Google account. He never left Houston that weekend. I didn't scream, didn't throw things. I sat at our kitchen table with the statement printed out and waited for him to get home. He walked in at 9 p.m., gym bag over his shoulder, protein shaker in hand. "We need to talk," I said. He saw the paper. His face strained. "Hotel Alessandra, March 15th. You told me you were in Austin." He set down his bag slowly, sat across from me, put his head in his hands. "It was one time," he said. "One mistake. I'm so sorry." "Who?" "A woman from the gym, Mara. It doesn't matter who she is. It meant nothing." "How long?" "Just that once, I swear. She came on to me after a session. I was weak. His voice cracked. "Sarah, I love you. This doesn't change that. I was struggling. With everything, the IVF, the failures, I felt like I was losing you." I wanted to throw the table at him, but I just sat there, numb. "Is it over?" I asked. "Yes, completely. I ended it the next day. I felt sick about it immediately." He reached for my hand. I pulled away. "I want to fix this," he said, tears running down his face now. Real ones. "Please let me fix this. I'll do therapy, whatever you need. I can't lose you." I should have left him then, but 7 years, our house, our life, the idea that maybe, just maybe, this was the wake-up call we needed. "Therapy," I said. "You call tomorrow. We start next week." He nodded, desperate. "I'll call first thing. I promise. Sarah, I'm so sorry." That was 6 weeks ago. Since then, Mike has been perfect. Flowers every Friday, breakfast in bed on weekends. He scheduled couples therapy for next month, the soonest we could get in. He texts me throughout the day, tells me he loves me, that he's grateful I'm giving him another chance. I started to believe him, started to think maybe we'd survive this. Then Tuesday happened. I was in a meeting when the email came through. My phone buzzed. I glanced down. Subject, He deserves to know the truth. Unknown sender. I almost deleted it. Spam, probably. But something made me open it. The attachment loaded. An ultrasound image. Black and white, a tiny profile. Measurements along the side. 19 weeks, 4 days. At the bottom, handwritten on a sticky note in the photo, your husband is going to be a father. Finally. Finally? Like this was something I'd been keeping from him. My chest tightened. I excused myself from the meeting, walked to the bathroom, locked myself in a stall. I zoomed in on the image, standard ultrasound, except the background. You could see part of the room behind the printout, the edge of a counter. I zoomed closer. Marble, white marble with gray veining. And a crack, a distinctive jagged crack running along the edge. My breath stopped. I knew that crack. We'd gotten it 5 years ago during installation, argued with the contractor, eventually just lived with it because fixing it meant replacing the whole slab. That was my kitchen counter. She took this photo in my house. I opened my Nest app with shaking hands. We have cameras at the front entrance and living room. Mike insisted after a break-in 2 streets over last year. I scrolled back through the footage. 2 months of recordings. And there she was. March 20th, 10:47, the day after Mike confessed. A woman walks up to our front door. Dark hair, athletic build. She pulls out a key, my key, opens the door like she lives there. I scrolled forward. March 22nd, she's back. April 3rd, April 8th. I counted 47 times. 47 separate entries. Always between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. My work hours. I clicked on a recent one, April 29th. She walks in wearing yoga pants and a tank top, goes to the kitchen, out of camera range, comes back 10 minutes later with coffee in my favorite mug, sits on my couch, scrolls her phone. Another clip, she's wearing my robe, the white one I got for Christmas. Another, she's coming out of the hallway, hair wet. She just showered, in my bathroom. My stomach turned. The affair wasn't over. It never ended. And now she's pregnant. I'm still sitting in that bathroom stall watching this woman live in my house carrying my husband's baby, and all I can think is, Mike swore it was one time, one mistake. But Mara has a key to our house, and she's been using it every single day. I didn't go back to work that day. I sat in my car in the parking garage for 3 hours, watching every clip, all 47 visits. I made a spreadsheet. Every Tuesday, every Thursday, my 2 longest days, the days I have back-to-back meetings until 6 p.m. Sometimes Monday mornings, right after I leave at 7:45 a.m. She knows my schedule down to the minute. The first visit was March 20th, the day after Mike confessed, the day he swore it was over. She stayed 2 hours that day. The camera shows her walking through the living room multiple times, like she's getting comfortable, learning the space. By visit number 5, she's bringing groceries, restocking my fridge. Visit 12, she's doing laundry. I watched her fold my clothes on my couch. But it's visit 18 that made my skin crawl. April 10th, 11:23 a.m. Mara walks into frame carrying something. My journal, the one I keep in my nightstand. She sits on my couch and reads it for 40 minutes. I watch her face. She's not skimming, she's studying, taking notes on her phone. At one point, she laughs. She's reading about my failed IVF cycles, about how empty I feel, about Mike growing distant. She's reading my pain like it's a manual. The next clip is worse. She's in my closet. I can see the edge of it from the living room camera when the bedroom door is open. She comes out wearing my clothes, not gym clothes, my work clothes. The burgundy blazer I wore to my last presentation, my black heels. She stands in front of the hallway mirror, just barely in frame, and takes photos of herself. She's not just sleeping with my husband. She's trying to be me. I kept scrolling. Visit 23. She's at the dining table with our mail, going through bank statements, insurance documents, my work files I sometimes bring home. Visit 31, she pulls out our wedding album from the bookshelf, sits with it for an hour. I zoom in as much as the footage allows. She's holding up her phone, comparing photos, mimicking poses. At one point, she sets the album down and practices something. Her hand moves across a piece of paper over and over, the same motion. She's practicing my signature. Visit 38, she doesn't do anything specific. She just exists. Makes coffee in my kitchen, sits on my couch, reads a book from my shelf, moves to the bedroom for a nap. I see her walk down the hall, come back 2 hours later in my robe. She spent 3 hours just living my life. I felt like I was watching a ghost wear my skin. By 7 p.m., I couldn't look at the footage anymore. I opened Instagram, found her account easily. Mike left it open on his iPad weeks ago. At Mara_Castellanos, 2,847 followers. Fitness posts, green smoothie photos, gym selfies, motivational quotes. The photos go back 8 months. I downloaded them all, ran them through TinEye, Google reverse image search, every tool I could find. Nothing. No matches anywhere on the internet before November 2025. It's like she didn't exist before 8 months ago. I called the gym, Peak Fitness, asked for the manager. Hi, I'm calling from Vanguard Marketing. We're working with one of your trainers, Mara Castellanos, just verifying employment dates for a contract. The manager hesitated. Let me check our system. Okay, Mara started with us last April. April 2024? Yes. Over a year, but her Instagram only goes back 8 months. And before that, do you have her previous employer on file? I don't think I can share that information without her consent. Of course, I'll follow up with her directly. Thanks so much. I hung up. Googled her name, Mara Castellanos, 28, Houston. Nothing. No LinkedIn, no public records, no address history. I checked the Texas Public Records database, searched every variation. Mara Castellanos, Maria Castellanos, M. Castellanos. 0 matches in Harris County for someone that age. The woman living in my house doesn't legally exist. I didn't sleep that night. Mike came home at 9 p.m., kissed my forehead, asked how my day was. Fine. Yours? Good. Exhausting. I'm gonna shower. I listened to the water run and wanted to scream. Instead, I Googled private investigators, found one with good reviews, sent an email with every photo I had of Mara, the ultrasound, everything. He responded in 20 minutes. Can you come in tomorrow? I met him at 8 a.m. His name was Dennis Kowalski, former cop, office in a strip mall near the Galleria. I showed him the footage, the emails, the Instagram, everything. He watched without expression. You want to know who she really is? Yes. Give me 48 hours. He called me Thursday afternoon. Can you come back in? His voice was different, tight. I left work early, sat across from him in that cramped office. He slid a folder across the desk. Your wife's girlfriend isn't named Mara Castellanos. I opened the folder. A police report. A mugshot. The same woman. Darker hair, thinner face, but the same sharp features, same eyes. Her real name is Rebecca Sloan, 31, originally from Colorado. 31? She told Mike she was 28. She lies about a lot of things, he tapped the report. Arrested in Denver 3 years ago. Identity theft. Fraud. She was living with a man, pretending to be his wife's late wife, wore her wife's clothes, used her makeup, slept in her side of the bed. It went on for 7 months before he realized his actual sister-in-law lived in Oregon and had never met this woman. My throat closed. When he confronted her, she claimed she was helping him heal, that she was honoring the wife's memory. He got a restraining order. She skipped town before the trial. What happened to the charges? Dropped. He didn't want to pursue it. Too painful. He leaned back. There's more. I found 2 other men, one in Phoenix, one in Seattle. Similar patterns. She gets close, studies their lives, becomes whoever they need her to be. Why? That's the question. He pulled out another page. I got her fingerprints off a coffee cup outside the gym, ran them. Rebecca Sloan also has a sealed juvenile record. I have a contact pulling it, but it'll take a few days. I stared at the mugshot. This woman has been in my house 47 times. This woman is pregnant with my husband's baby. What do I do? My voice sounded far away. Document everything. Don't confront her. Don't tell your husband yet. We don't know if he's a victim or complicit. He doesn't know. He can't. Maybe, but men miss a lot when they want to. I drove home in a fog. Mike wasn't there. At the gym, his location said. I pulled up the Nest footage again, went back through April, looking for anything I'd missed. And there it was. April 15th, visit 21. Mara, Rebecca, in my bedroom, sitting on my side of the bed on the phone. The camera doesn't pick up audio, but I can read her lips if I slow it down. I watched it 15 times. Phase 2 is almost complete. She stands, paces. The pregnancy sealed it. She touches her stomach, not even showing it in this footage. She'll be gone soon. A pause. She's listening to whoever's on the other end. Then she smiles. She can stop pretending.
Dennis told me not to confront her. This woman is dangerous, he said. We need to understand her endgame first. Whatever she's planning, you walking in could accelerate it. So I just let her keep coming into my house? For now, until we know what we're dealing with. He leaned forward. Sarah, women like Rebecca don't do this randomly. She chose you specifically. We need to find out why. But I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. Every time Mike touched me, I felt her in my house, wearing my clothes, reading my thoughts. I needed to know what she wanted. Friday morning, I told Mike I had an emergency work trip. San Antonio, client crisis. I have to leave tonight, back tomorrow evening. He looked genuinely disappointed. Really? I was hoping we could have a nice weekend. I know, I'm sorry, it's unavoidable. He kissed my forehead. I'll miss you. I packed a bag, made it look real, left at 6 p.m., drove 3 blocks away and parked behind a CVS. Dennis was already set up in a van across the street from our house. He'd been there since 4 p.m. Anything? I texted. Not yet. I pulled out my laptop, opened the app I installed on Mike's phone last week, remote access software, $200 from a website I found on Reddit. I could see everything, his texts, his location, his screen in real time. At 6:47 p.m., he texted her. Mike's textin', Sarah's gone tonight, work trip. Come over, but we need to talk about the baby. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Mara, what time? Mike, now if you can. Mara, I'll be there in 30. My hands were shaking so hard I almost dropped the phone. She's coming, I texted Dennis. I'm ready. I watched Mike's location. He stayed home, watched his screen. He opened Instagram, scrolled, closed it, opened his banking app. Then at 7:23 p.m., Dennis texted, she's here, back door, didn't use the front. I pulled up our Ring camera on the back door. We'd installed it last month. There she was, dark hair pulled back, leggings and an oversized sweater. She pulled out a key, a different key, and let herself in. She has keys to every door. Dennis sent photos. His angle was from a neighbor's yard. He'd gotten permission, said he was doing insurance fraud investigation. His telephoto lens captured everything through our kitchen window. Mike and Mara embracing. Not passionate, tense. They moved to the living room, sat on opposite ends of the couch. Can you get audio? I texted. Working on it. Parabolic mic, give me a minute. I watched them talk through Dennis's camera. Mike's body language was rigid, defensive. Mara leaned forward, animated. Then Dennis called me. I've got audio, patchy but usable. Listen. He held his phone up to the receiver. Static. Then Mike's voice. Need to slow down. This is happening too fast. Mara, you said you'd leave her. I will, but the timing, the baby changes everything. We need to think about. I'm having your baby. Her voice sharp. You promised me. You said once I was pregnant, you'd tell her. I know what I said, but what? You're getting cold feet? After everything I've done? It's not that. Sarah's finally starting to trust me again. If I spring this on her now, you should have thought about that before you fucked me without a condom. Silence. Then Mara's voice. Lower. Colder. I've already transferred $40,000 from the joint account, the one you didn't think I knew about. My stomach dropped. What? How did you? I know about the life insurance policy, too. The one where Sarah's worth $500,000 if something happens to her. Mara, what the hell? And I know what you did to Madison. The silence was so long, I thought the connection dropped. Then Mike, barely audible, "How do you know that name?" "I know everything, Mike. I know about Colorado. I know about the accident that wasn't really an accident. I know what the police suspected but couldn't prove." I looked at Dennis through his van window 3 blocks away. He was staring at his equipment, recording everything. "Who the fuck are you?" Mike's voice cracked. "Someone who's very good at finding things people want to stay buried." Mara stood. I could see her pacing through Dennis's camera. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to tell Sarah you want a divorce. You're going to make it ugly. Cheat on her publicly if you have to. Make her want to leave." "Why?" "Because I need her out of the house, out of your life completely." "This is insane." "You're going to give me everything in the settlement. The house, the accounts, all of it." "You're blackmailing me." "I'm protecting my child." She touched her stomach. "Our child deserves a stable home with parents who aren't criminals. I'm not a criminal. Madison's family might disagree." Mike collapsed back onto the couch, put his head in his hands. "If you don't do exactly what I say," Mara continued, "I'll send everything I have to the Colorado police. The texts you deleted, the photos, the timeline that proves you were there when she went over the cliff. It was an accident. Then you have nothing to worry about, right?" Mike said nothing. "You have 1 week. Tell Sarah you want a divorce, or I make the call." She walked toward the back door, stopped, turned. "Oh, and Mike, stop pretending you love her. Both of us know you only married Sarah for her money. I'm just cutting out the middleman." She left through the back door. Mike sat on the couch alone for 20 minutes. Then he got up and poured himself a drink. 3 fingers of whiskey, downed it, poured another. I sat in my car watching through Dennis's camera feed, trying to process what I'd heard. Madison? Colorado? An accident that wasn't an accident? Mike married me for my money. Dennis climbed into my passenger seat. I hadn't even seen him approach. She's not his lover. She's blackmailing him. He's terrified of her. "Who's Madison?" "I'll find out." But Sarah, he turned to face me. "This woman didn't choose Mike randomly. She researched him, found his secrets, got pregnant deliberately. She's been planning this for months." "Planning what?" "That's what scares me." He showed me his phone, stills from the footage. Mara's face cold, calculated. "She said she needs you out of the house, out of his life completely. She wants the house." "No." Dennis's expression was grim. "She wants your entire life, the house, the money, the husband. She's been studying you for months, wearing your clothes, learning your routines, practicing your signature." My blood went cold. "She's not trying to steal your husband," Dennis said. "She's trying to become you." "That's insane." "Rebecca Sloan has done this before. Got close to men, studied their lives, tried to replace the women they loved." He pulled up a file on his tablet. "The man in Denver, his wife died in a car accident. Rebecca showed up 6 months later claiming to be the wife's sister. She had photos, stories, knew intimate details. It took him 7 months to realize she was a stranger." "How did she know all that?" "The wife had a blog, social media, years of public posts." He looked at me. "How many posts? How much of your life is documented online?" "Hundreds, maybe thousands. My wedding, my vacations, my struggles with IVF. I'd posted about it all looking for support." "She's been studying you for a year, learning everything, and now she's 8 months into executing whatever her endgame is." "What do I do?" "We need to know about Madison, about what Mike did, because whatever leverage she has on Mike, that's her weapon. And we need to figure out her real plan, because if she just wanted the house, she'd have an easier path than getting pregnant and blackmailing your husband." I watched our house through the window. Mike was still on the couch, drink in hand. "She said she needs me gone, out of the house, out of his life completely." Dennis didn't answer. He didn't have to. We both knew what completely meant. I didn't go home that night. I got a hotel room near the airport and opened my laptop. Searched for Madison and Mike's name together. It took 3 tries with different keyword combinations before I found it. "Local woman dies in tragic hiking accident." Boulder Daily Camera, September 2013. Madison Torres, 22, died Saturday after falling from a cliff at Flagstaff Mountain Trail. Her boyfriend, Michael Chen, was hiking with her and attempted rescue but was unable to reach her in time. Park rangers recovered her body Sunday morning. Authorities ruled the death accidental. There was a photo. Madison smiling at the camera. Dark hair, bright eyes. Pretty. I kept searching, found her obituary, her Facebook memorial page, a blog her mother had kept for a year after, processing grief. Then I found Reddit, a post from 7 years ago in r/unresolved mysteries. Unresolved death. My sister's hiking accident wasn't an accident. My sister, Madison Torres, died in 2013. Her boyfriend said she slipped and fell. The police believed him. But Madison was an experienced hiker. She'd done that trail 50 times. She was afraid of heights and never went near cliff edges. 2 weeks before she died, she told me she was going to break up with him. She said Mike had a temper, that he'd grabbed her wrist hard enough to bruise when she suggested moving to Seattle for grad school. She was scared, but didn't know how to leave safely. Then she's dead, and he's crying at the funeral, and everyone calls it tragic. I tried to tell the police. They said there was no evidence, that grief was making me irrational. I know he pushed her. I'll never be able to prove it, but I know. The username was u/Caroline Torres 89. I clicked her profile. Her last post was 5 years ago, a goodbye message to the subreddit. I can't keep reliving this. I have to let her go. Thank you all for listening. I called Dennis at 2 a.m. I need you to find someone. Caroline Torres, Madison's sister. He called back at 8 a.m. Found her. She lives in Albuquerque, works as a dental hygienist. I've got her number. I called from the hotel. She answered on the third ring. Hello? Caroline Torres? A pause. Yes? My name is Sarah Chen. I'm married to Michael Chen. I need to talk to you about your sister. Silence. Then, how did you find me? Please, I'll explain everything. Can we video call? 20 minutes later, we were on Zoom. Caroline was 34. Same dark hair as Madison, same eyes. She looked exhausted. I haven't said that name in 5 years, she said. Mike Chen, I tried to let it go. I think you were right about what happened to Madison. Her face crumbled. Why? What happened? I told her everything. The affair, Mara, the blackmail, the house, what Mara said about Madison. Caroline was crying by the end. I knew it. I fucking knew he killed her. But no one believed me, not even my parents. They said I was making it worse for everyone. There's something else. I pulled up photos of Mara. This is the woman blackmailing him. I shared my screen. Caroline went completely still. That's not possible. What? No. Caroline leaned closer to her camera. Look at the mole under her left eye. Madison had that exact mole, same placement. And her nose. Madison broke her nose in high school. It healed with that little bump on the bridge. That woman has the same bump. I zoomed in on Mara's Instagram photos. She was right. The mole, the nose, the smile, even the slightly crooked bottom tooth. She's had surgery, Caroline said. Extensive surgery to look like my sister. My stomach turned. Why would someone do that? To destroy him. Caroline wiped her eyes. Whoever this woman is, she knows what Mike did, and she's making him relive it. I thought about Mara practicing my signature, wearing my clothes, studying my life. She's not just blackmailing him, I said slowly. This whole thing, the affair, the pregnancy, infiltrating my life, it's all revenge. For Madison. But why involve me? I didn't even know Mike 12 years ago. Caroline stared at me. You're collateral damage. Or, she hesitated, maybe you're part of the lesson. Maybe she wants him to lose everything, including you. I called Dennis immediately after. Check the ultrasound photo, the one Mara sent. I need to know if it's real. He called back in an hour. It's fake. Stock image. I found the original on a medical imaging site. She photoshopped the date and measurements, added the handwritten note. The pregnancy was fake. All of it. The baby, the affair, probably. Every intimate moment was calculated. Mara had been playing a role for 8 months, getting Mike to fall for her, to trust her, to give her access to our lives, so she could take everything from him the way he took Madison from her family. I sat on the hotel bed, trying to process it all. Then I opened my laptop and sent an email to Mara's address. Subject: I know who you are. I know who you are, Rebecca. I know about Madison. We need to talk. She responded in 4 minutes. Subject: RE/I know who you are. Meet me tomorrow, 10 a.m., Flagstaff Mountain Trail, the overlook at mile marker 3. Come alone or I release everything about Mike and you. You're not as innocent as you think. What did that mean? I'd never even been to Colorado. I forwarded the email to Dennis and Caroline. I'm going, I told Dennis on the phone. Absolutely not. This woman is dangerous. I need to know what she means. What does she have on me? Sarah, she really is. I'll wear a wire. You and Caroline will be nearby. Call the police, have them on standby. But I need to talk to her face to face.
He was quiet for a long moment. If she's at that trail at that specific spot, that's where Madison died. She's making a point. I know. This could be a trap. I know that too. He sighed. I'll book a flight to Denver. Caroline, can you meet us there? On the video call, Caroline nodded. I'm coming. I need to see this through. We coordinated everything. Dennis would have surveillance equipment set up in the woods. Caroline would be 50 yards away with binoculars. Boulder PD would be notified and staged a half-mile down the trail. I told Mike I was extending my work trip another day. He sounded relieved. Take your time. Handle what you need to. Did he know? Did he have any idea what was coming? I flew to Denver that night, drove to Boulder in the morning, met Dennis and Caroline at a trailhead parking lot. She'll see the wire, Dennis said, attaching the small microphone under my collar. She'll probably check you for it, but we'll have parabolic audio backup and Caroline's recording from a distance. Caroline handed me her phone. Madison's photos are on here if you need proof if she denies it. I'm sorry, I told her, for everything, for what he did. It's not your fault, she gripped my hand, but help me finish this. Help me make sure he finally pays. I started up the trail at 9:45 a.m. The morning was cold, fog hung in the trees. My breath came out in clouds. I reached mile marker 3 at exactly 10 a.m. The overlook was a rocky outcrop with a metal railing. A memorial plaque was bolted to a boulder in loving memory of Madison Torres, 1991 to 2013. And standing at the edge, looking down at the cliff where Madison fell, was Mara. She turned when she heard me approach. Hello, Sarah. She looked different in person, older, harder. She was wearing Madison's face, but none of Madison's warmth. Rebecca, I said. She smiled. So you figured it out. Good. This'll be easier. Why are you doing this? You really have to ask? She gestured at the cliff. He pushed her, right here, 12 years ago. He wanted to leave him and he couldn't handle it, so he made sure she'd never leave. And you're, what, avenging her? I'm making sure he loses everything, the way Madison lost everything. The pregnancy is fake, the affair is fake, all of it. The affair is real enough, she laughed. Poor Mike. He really thought I wanted him. He's not that bright, is he? What do you want from me? Nothing, you're just part of the set decoration. She stepped closer. But then I found something interesting while I was living in your house, going through your files, reading your journals. My heart pounded. You knew, she said softly, didn't you? Knew what? About Madison. You've known for 3 years. That's insane. The life insurance policy you set up, the one that pays out if Mike dies in an accident. You took it out exactly 5 years after Madison died. She pulled out her phone, showed me a photo of a document, my signature at the bottom. And the Google search is on your laptop. Can old murder cases be reopened? Statute of limitations, Colorado, all from your IP address. I stared at the document. I'd never seen it before in my life. That's not, the police won't believe that. Not when they find your journal entries, the ones where you talk about how much you hate him, how you wish he was dead. I never wrote those things, but she'd been in my house for months with my journal. She'd planted everything. You're framing me. I'm giving Mike what he deserves, a wife who wants him dead, just like Madison had a boyfriend who wanted her dead. She looked at the cliff. Poetic, don't you think? What do you want? I want you to push him off this cliff, right here, where Madison died. I'll video it, you'll go to prison, Mike will be dead, and Madison will finally have justice. You're insane! Or you can refuse, and I'll send everything I have to the police. The forged documents, the journal entries, the insurance policy. They'll investigate, they'll find just enough to ruin your life, maybe not enough to convict, but enough to destroy everything you have. She stepped closer. Either way, Sarah, you're going down with him. The only question is whether you take control of how. Behind her, the sun broke through the fog, and I saw Caroline in the trees, phone out, recording, everything. I smiled. Got all that? I said to the wire under my collar. Mara's face changed. What? Conspiracy to commit murder, blackmail, fraud, identity theft. I pulled out my phone, showed her the recording app, and now you're on record admitting you forged documents and framed me. Sirens echoed up the trail. Mara lunged for me. I stepped back. She stopped at the edge of the overlook, right where Madison fell. You don't understand. He deserves to die. Maybe he does, but not like this. Police emerged from the trees, Dennis with them, Caroline running behind. Rebecca Sloan, you're under arrest. Mara looked at the cliff, at the memorial plaque. I'm sorry, Madison, she whispered. Then she stepped backward, off the edge, just like Madison had. Mara stepped back from the edge. Not off it, just back. She looked at me, then at the police emerging from the trees. You think you're so clever, she said quietly, recording me, setting a trap. Rebecca Sloan, the officer started. Let me finish. Her voice was steel. I'm not running, but she deserves to hear the truth first. The officer stopped, hands on weapons. Dennis gestured for them to wait. Mara turned to face me fully. In the morning light, Madison's reconstructed face looked ghostly. Madison was my best friend, she said, not Caroline's friend, mine. We were roommates in college, inseparable. She was the first person I came out to, the first person who made me feel seen.
Caroline made a sound behind me. She never mentioned you, I said. She wouldn't have. Her family was Catholic, conservative. She kept me separate, Maris smiled sadly, but we were everything to each other, and when she started dating Mike, I warned her. I saw what he was, controlling, jealous, violent. She told me about the bruises, Caroline called out. She didn't say they were from him. She was ashamed, scared, classic abuse cycle. Maris' jaw tightened. She called me the night before the hike, said she was finally going to leave him. She had a plan, grad school in Seattle. She was getting out. The wind picked up. The memorial plaque gleamed. I was supposed to meet her that Sunday, help her move, but Mike convinced her to go hiking first. One last trip together, he said. Closure. Mara's voice cracked. She never came home. The police ruled it an accident, I said, because he's a good liar, because Madison was scared of heights, and everyone assumed she got too close to the edge. But I knew. She pulled out her phone, showed me screenshots. I found the texts he deleted from that morning. Madison told him it was over. He said, "You're not leaving me." She said, "I already have." 2 hours later, she's dead. I looked at the messages. They were real. I found witnesses, Mara continued, hikers who saw them arguing on the trail, saw Mike grab her arm, but no prosecutor would touch it. Circumstantial evidence, grieving boyfriend, pretty white boy tears. She spat the words. So I waited 5 years, saved every penny, got the surgeries, became Madison. Why? I whispered. Because I was going to make him confess, become the woman he killed, watch him fall apart, record everything, then push him off this cliff. She looked at the edge. Poetic justice. Madison would have appreciated the symmetry. That's murder. It's justice. She turned back to me, but then something happened. I started living in your house, reading your journals. You wrote about the IVF failures, about how Mike told you you were broken, that a real woman would be able to give him a child. My throat closed. You wrote about how he grabbed your wrist when you suggested adoption, how he apologized but it left bruises, how you covered them up. Her eyes burned. You're a good person trapped with a monster, Sarah, just like Madison was. So you, what, decided to save me too? I decided to give you a choice. She stepped closer. Police tensed. Walk away right now. I'll finish this. You collect his life insurance, start over. Or stop me. Save him. Live with a killer for the rest of your life knowing what he is. That's not a choice. It's the only choice that matters. Her voice echoed off the rocks. Do you save the man who pushed his girlfriend off a cliff, who abuses you, who will probably kill you too when you finally try to leave? Or do you let justice happen? This isn't justice, it's revenge. What's the difference when the system failed? Behind me, Dennis was on his radio. Police were moving in. Caroline was crying. And then I heard it. Footsteps running up the trail. Mike burst into the clearing. He saw me, saw Mara, saw the police. What, Sarah, what's happening? Mara turned to face him. Hello, Michael. He went white. Mara? That's not my name. She pulled off the wig, short blonde hair underneath, took out the brown contacts, blue eyes. But you knew that, didn't you? Deep down, you knew I was too perfect, too much like her. Like who? Madison. He stumbled backward. No, she's dead. I'm the ghost, Mara smiled. I'm everything you tried to bury coming back. You're insane. You pushed her off this cliff, Mara screamed. Right here, right where we're standing, because she tried to leave you. It was an accident. She slipped. She didn't slip. Mara lunged at him. Mike dodged. They were feet from the edge. You killed her. You admit it. You fucking killed her. She was going to leave me. She was going to ruin everything. The words hung in the air. Everyone froze. Mike realized what he said. His face crumbled. I didn't mean it was an accident. You just admitted it, Dennis said quietly, recording equipment in his hand. Mike looked at me. Sarah, I can explain. You killed her. My voice didn't sound like mine. You pushed Madison off this cliff because she tried to leave. It wasn't like that. How many times did you think about pushing me? I stepped towards him. When I couldn't get pregnant? When I wasn't perfect enough? How many times? He backed towards the edge. Sarah, please. Were you waiting for the right moment, the right cliff? I would never. You already did. Mara lunged again. Mike sidestepped. His foot hit loose rocks. He wobbled, arms windmilling, fell backward, caught the edge with both hands, hanging, screaming. Help! Sarah, help me! Police were running, but they were 30 feet away. I was closest. Mara stood there over him, calm. Let him fall, she said. He deserves it. Mike's fingers were slipping, white-knuckled. Please, I'm sorry. I looked at Mara, at this woman who had destroyed her life. life for revenge, who became a dead woman, who had lost everything trying to make him pay. She wouldn't want this, I said. You didn't know her. I know she loved you, Caroline told me, about the phone calls, about how Madison said she was her favorite person. I stepped closer. Would she want you to become a killer too? Mara's face twisted. He took her from me. And if you do this, he'll take you too. You'll go to prison forever. He wins. I don't care. Madison would. Mara looked at the memorial plaque, at Mike hanging from the cliff edge. He deserves to die. Maybe. I knelt at the edge, reached out my hand. Mike grabbed my wrist. I pulled. Police reached us, hauled him up. He collapsed on solid ground, sobbing. Mara stood there, watching. Empty. Rebecca Sloan, you were under arrest for stalking, fraud, identity theft, and conspiracy. I confess to all of it. Record that. I did everything. He did nothing. It was all me. They handcuffed her. Then they handcuffed Mike. Michael Chen, you are under arrest for the murder of Madison Torres. He started screaming, claiming it was coerced, that he didn't mean what he said. But Dennis had it all on tape. Caroline was crying. Dennis was on the phone with prosecutors. I just stood there at the cliff edge, looking down where Madison fell. The trial took 8 months. A witness came forward, an elderly hiker who'd been on the trail that 12 years ago. She'd seen a young couple arguing, saw the man grab the woman's shoulders, saw them struggle. She'd reported it at the time. Her statement was buried in the file, marked inconclusive. Now it was evidence. Mike was convicted of second-degree murder, 20 years to life. Mara, Rebecca, was charged with multiple counts of fraud, identity theft, and conspiracy. Her lawyers tried for an insanity defense. It didn't work. She served 2 years. I divorced Mike while he was awaiting trial, sold his house, donated most of his belongings, started therapy, connected with Caroline. We met for coffee once a month, talked about Madison, about survival, about healing. The day Rebecca was released, I was waiting outside the prison. She looked older, thinner, her real hair grown out. No more Madison face. She'd had the surgeries reversed as part of her rehabilitation. She stopped when she saw me. Why are you here? I wanted to ask you something. We sat on a bench outside the facility. Why did you save him? She asked. You knew what he was, what he'd done. You could have let him fall. I thought about it, I said. For a second up there, I wanted to. I wanted him to feel what Madison felt. Then why? Because you deserve to live more than he deserved to die. I met her eyes. Madison wouldn't have wanted you to become a killer. She would have wanted you to keep living, to be happy, to remember her without becoming her. Rebecca was quiet for a long time. Then she cried. Not the cold, calculated tears of an actor. Real tears. Years of grief pouring out. I miss her so much, she sobbed. Every day. I just wanted him to pay. He is paying. He'll die in prison. I touched her shoulder. But you get to leave. You get to start over. I don't know how. Neither did I stood. But we'll figure it out. One day at a time. I gave her my number. Told her to call if she needed anything. She watched me walk away. Sarah? I turned. Thank you for not letting me fall too. I live alone now. Small apartment, no cameras, no smart locks, nothing connected. Some nights I still think about that moment on the cliff, how close I came to letting him fall, how a part of me wanted to, how easy it would have been to just step back. But I chose differently. Not for him, he deserved what he got. For me, because I'm not a killer. Because some revenge isn't worth the cost, even when it's justified, even when it's deserved. I chose to stay human, and every morning I wake up in my quiet apartment, I'm grateful I did. The nightmares come less often now, the cameras are gone, the secrets are buried, and I'm finally free.